In January, I travelled to Mali on behalf of the London security team. The point of the trip was to reassess our network of in-country security and logistics partners, to meet with diplomatic and client contacts, and of course to ground truth our assessment of the political and the security environment. A lot of our operational planning involves evaluating evacuation routes, reconfirming ports of departure, and assessing stand-fast options for clients, normally in urban centres. For me, this meant conducting a route assessment from the capital Bamako to the Guinean border, vetting secure hotels, and testing a riverine evacuation route using a pirogue, which is a small native type of boat. I used one of these to traverse the river Niger, which splits Bamako in half. We learned a lot. I learned, for example, that one-way restrictions are in place at certain times of the day. It's almost impossible to cross the Sutuba Bridge, also known as the Chinese Bridge of Friendship, or the third bridge, between 3 and 7 o'clock in the evening. And this is because a one-way system is implemented that causes near standstill traffic in one direction. This level of understanding was necessary for our own operational planning and also to build out our capacity to support clients, given the volatility of the already challenging security environment and the concerning recent political developments. So while we still rate the capital as medium risk, the rest of the country is split between high and extreme risk security zones. If we're talking about outside Bamako, since August 2023, Malian forces, along with Russian paramilitaries, have been fighting a coalition of rebel movements in the center of the country, while also fighting continuously with jihadist groups, namely Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam al-Muslimin and Islamic State in the Greater Sahara. So this, along with an increased risk of kidnap, has made virtually all travel outside of Bamako extremely challenging. Our clients are maintaining operations in the central and southern parts of the country. So, for example, those conducting regular overland travel between Bamako and Dakar in Senegal, normally via the southwestern city of Kayes, have had to significantly ramp up their risk mitigation efforts. These are principally NGO and government clients. The route that I assessed to Kuremale on the border with Guinea, and that's the preferred option for an overland evacuation out of Bamako, necessitated stringent journey management precautions, including the use of, for example, a convoy and armed close protection support from the Malian security forces. If we're talking inside of Bamako, the capital's much more secure, but there's the increasing challenge of its shrinking political space and its worsening logistical environment. Mali has been under military rule since 2 coups, the first in 2020 and the second in 2021, the latter of which was led by Colonel Assimi Goïta and resulted in a ruling junta with a much more hardline military approach. Now, the junta has since expelled the UN-led peacekeeping mission, MINUSMA, that was deployed there in 2013, and the European Union training mission has also drawn down its forces. We're expecting them to be completely gone later this year. And beyond the security and the humanitarian repercussions of these decisions, the drawdown of international forces has meant a loss of approximately 40,000 jobs in real terms, since the mission had previously provided employment and services that the state couldn't. This is a reflection of the worsening socioeconomic environment. When I was there, for example, blackouts were very, very common, and almost everybody that I spoke to was really vocal about these sorts of issues. Now, a promise was made to organise elections and to hand power back over to civilians by the end of March this year, but the junta later postponed those elections indefinitely, and a recent national dialogue recommended several more years of military rule, and also for the junta chief, Colonel Goïta, to be a candidate himself for the presidency. In April, they issued a decree suspending all activities by political parties, including all media coverage of politics. And for us, the closing of the information environment in this manner has meant that the relationships built in country and the information gathered while on the ground have become even more valuable to us.